Hi, my name is Insaaf ISaacs. I'm a second year commerce student majoring in information systems, running for SRC round 2 under the political banner of SASCO. As a current year of academics, I've decided to run for SRC a second time because through my experience on the current SRC, I've come to learn that I'm a people person or people-focused person. To be frank, I live in a world of people possibilities. I thrive on bringing out the best in others, in turn bringing out the best in me. And if one were to look at what governs my personal framework, it's things like integrity, transparency, efficiency, vision, coupled with perseverance, as this has been currently a really rough ride for me. It's been rough getting into SRC, it's been rough trying to stay on SRC as an efficient student leader. And I believe that running a second time will allow my experience to carry through in terms of the continuity, which is what our student governance structure DCT unfortunately lacks. This is SRC's mission statement reads, to be the vanguard of student interests. And the mission statement in itself is the embodiment of what an SRC should be. Whether or not the SRC lives up to that is very questionable and becomes questionable with each SRC. What the SRC means to me as a senior student leader currently serving on it is that it ought to be an administratively efficient body. It ought to be transparent. It ought to be willing and able to show students this is the decision we've come to using this reason, and this is why we are prepared to defend it, even if you might not agree with the decision we have made. I believe that the SRC should pride itself in the real issues that affect real UCT students. A jammy shuttle not working is unacceptable. A student being harassed on the main road is unacceptable. A student feeling as if there's no space for them is unacceptable. And as the highest decision-making body in the student governance spectrum here at UCT, that's what the SRC should be focusing on. The new dimension I believe I'll bring to the SRC of 2012 spans directly from experience. I've recently been invited to speak to the University of Namibia, in Namibia, about quality assurance in higher education. Following my return from the workshop, I've come to learn that in fact, universities geographically located in Africa are based on models that aren't African. For me personally, that just doesn't make sense. African institutions ought to service the African agenda. And as student leaders, we should stop waiting for management to feed us direction. My fundamental goal coming into SRC, or hopefully coming into SRC the second time, is to develop a student version of what we could call an African best practice. At the World Economic Forum, this was pinpointed as something that was long overdue. It is this standard, it is this style of thinking, I believe it is this goal-orientated approach coupled with experience, coupled with exposure, and having was currently servicing the whole University of Cape Town, having to take care of faculty councils, class representatives, and a whole host of other concerns. I believe that this dimension is something that previous SRCs failed to address, the African agenda. And I say this not in isolation, disregarding other institutions of higher learning, but it's high time that the University of Cape Town accepts, and that the student leaders of the University of Cape Town accept that we are the best on the continent, and that we start investing back into the land that which we are located on.